Welcome again to the learning portal for the DP accounting software. Database providers, based in San Diego, California, proudly develops, distributes, and supports this software. In this video, we will discuss managing suppliers, also called vendors. We aim to demonstrate how new suppliers can be entered and set a few critical defaults, including the pay-to address. We will also demonstrate how to add contact information and create credit card accounts for credit card suppliers. Lastly, we will show how to open the supplier-related reports provided, as well as how to search for existing suppliers and how to delete a supplier or flag the vendor as inactive. Now let's get right into it. Once the initial setup of this accounting software is complete, where suppliers or vendors can be imported in bulk using the import supplier process, adding additional suppliers is designed to be straightforward and user-friendly. We will demonstrate two simple methods for adding new suppliers. The first method is to click the Add Vendor button from the main menu. A blank supplier form is opened, and the new supplier information is entered. For simplicity of this demonstration, we will switch to an existing supplier as we review the supplier's detailed information. You can enter the supplier name and location information from there, such as the address, city, state, and zip code. The Pay To section identifies the address to mail payments when paying by check or money order. Click the Copy from Main if the Pay To address is identical or closely matches the supplier's address. Make the necessary changes to the Pay To section to match where to mail the payment. There are two crucial defaults to set when adding a new supplier, both highly recommended and utilized when recording bills to pay. The first default is to enter the supplier's payment terms. The number, or days, identified in this field will be used when recording bills to pay and adding the bill's due date. The bill due date will be automatically set using the calculation of the bill date plus the number of days set here. So, for example, if a payment term of 10 is entered into this field when the bill date is April 30th, 2024, the payment due date will be automatically set as May 10th, 2024, 10 days after the bill date. If the supplier's bills are always due on receipt, the days entered here should be 0, so the payment due date will equal the bill date. Note that bills' payment due dates can be changed during the bill recording process. This default feature has been added to reduce the time needed to record bills and provide consistency in payment terms for each supplier's bills. The second default is the expense account. Choose the expense account that best suits the goods or services received from this supplier. Again, setting this default expense account reduces the time needed to record bills and ensures consistency of the expense account for all bills and credits created for this supplier. Next, we will add a main contact name, contact title, and email address. After entering, the user will be prompted to add this to the contacts list. It's as simple as choosing Yes to add. The contact list has now been refreshed, and the main contact is added to the contact list. Additional contacts can be added over time by clicking the Contact List tab and adding it to the bottom. Existing contact information can be easily edited by simply editing from the field. This straightforward process gives you complete control over your supplier's contact information, allowing you to update and manage it as needed. The next tab, Supplier's Credit Card Issuance, is only used for those suppliers that issue credit cards. It allows users to add specific credit cards issued to each employee. Add the employee name and the last 4 digits of the credit card, and then add the chart of account for the credit card. It is recommended that a chart of accounts be added for each credit card. This process is part of the setup for the chart of accounts. Lastly, there is the Supplier Reports tab. This tab contains a few helpful printable reports. The first report is the AP credits. This report summarizes all of the available credits for this supplier. The following report is the Bill Register. This printable report lists all of the bills recorded for this supplier. The third report is outstanding payables for this supplier. Some may call it a vendor or Supplier Aging Report. This printable report shows all bills from this supplier with the remaining balance due. The final report is the Payment Register. This printable report shows all payments made to this supplier. The second method for adding a new supplier is through the Add Bill process. Although this method exists, it may not be used often, as we hope that supplier information is added to this accounting software before recording bills from suppliers for goods and services that have already been rendered. From the main menu, click Add Bill. The supplier drop-down list contains the list of suppliers already added. If the supplier entered is not on this list, the user will be prompted that a new supplier will be added. This will open the supplier information, where the user will enter all the supplier information. Enter the new supplier address, city, state, and zip code details. After the supplier location information has been added, add the Pay To information. As previously mentioned, click Copy from Main and update the Pay To information as necessary. Select the default payment terms and expense account. Enter a main contact, contact title, and an email address. When prompted to add, choose Yes. This process automatically adds to the supplier contact list. Suppose the supplier issues credit cards. Add the employee name, last 4 digits, and the chart of accounts for each credit card. When the supplier information is completed and reviewed for accuracy, click the back button to continue recording and saving the new bill. Now that you're familiar with adding new suppliers or vendors, let's delve into the user-friendly search features in the Vendors module. From the main menu, click on Vendors. The search field, designed for your convenience, is your key to finding vendors of interest. It's important to note that this search field will search all vendor information, including the vendor contacts and Pay To information. Once you've entered your search criteria, a simple click of the Enter key will display all matching vendors, making your search process a breeze. To display vendors in a specific state, like California, enter CA. This shows all vendors in California. To clear the criteria, click on the Remove Search label. This will remove the requirements and display the complete set of vendors. A word of caution: it is essential to keep a consistent approach to vendor information. In this example, we are adding states as initials. Stick to this approach and be consistent. For this demonstration, I have added a customer where the state was not abbreviated, specifically California. When I search California, I only see a single vendor. When I search the abbreviated state of California as CA, I see the others. The point is to be consistent with data entry, so the search feature will be accurate in the results. The exact process can be used for vendor names. For example, show all vendors with provider in their name. Additionally, enter Snyder to show vendors with contact names of Snyder. To view the vendor, double-click the vendor from the list. A few sections in the vendor record need to be pointed out. Under the Current AP section, you will see a real-time view of this vendor's aging. The total amount field shows the total amount owed to the vendor. This amount is broken up into aging sections. The less than 0 field shows the amount owed to the vendor, but the payment due date is in the future. In the overdue section, the 0 to 30 days field shows the amount past due for up to 30 days. The 31 to 60 days field shows the amount past due of up to 60 days. The 61 to 90 days shows the amount past due of up to 90 days. The 91 to 120 days shows the amount past due of up to 120 days. Finally, the field greater than 120 days shows the amount past due beyond 120 days. To the right of that section is a quick view of the last bill and payment information, including the last bill date, invoice number, and amount, as well as the last payment date, payment check or reference numbers, and amount paid to the vendor. Additionally, an overpayment on a bill becomes a credit until it is used up on a future bill payment. The credit amount is shown in the total credit field. To close the vendor record, click the back button, which closes the form and takes the user back to the vendor listing. Click the Remove Filter label, and the vendor list will now display all vendors. Click the Back to Main button, and the user is taken back to the main menu. If a vendor or supplier is inactive, it is best to flag the vendor as inactive. The vendor must not be deleted if transactions, such as bills, payments, or credit, are linked to the vendor. This accounting software will warn the user when trying to delete a vendor who has transactions related to them. Deleting a vendor should only be done when the vendor was entered incorrectly. To demonstrate the deletion of a vendor, click the Vendors button on the main menu. Using the search field, find the vendor to delete and double-click the vendor. With the vendor record open, click the Delete Supplier label. The user is prompted to continue with the deletion to prevent accidental deletions. Select Yes to delete and No to cancel the deletion. If there will be no further business with a vendor, flag the vendor as inactive. From the main menu, click the Vendors button and search for the vendor to flag as inactive. Double-click the vendor to view their information and then check the inactive box. Close the vendor record by selecting the back button, which returns the user to the vendor listing. Thank you for watching this video. We hope that after watching, you understand that supplier and vendor is used interchangeably and their meanings are identical, how to add new vendors, the importance of adding the two defaults of payment terms and expense account to each vendor record, and how to add a main contact that is used to begin the supplier's contact list. Furthermore, be able to manage the credit cards in each of their chart of account within the vendor record, and only for the vendor that issued the credit cards. Finally, recognize the vendor reports available and what those reports display. Lastly, be able to search and find vendors of interest using the search field, set a vendor to inactive, and delete a vendor. If you found this video helpful, please like it below. In addition, please click subscribe below so that you can be notified when we release new videos.